So I'm Kaitlyn Denham. I'm a second year trainee at Dentons UK and Middle East LLP.
And I'm Cranston, and I'm a first year trainee at Dentons.
And what kind of skills and experience are essential when approaching law firms?
I think it's important to be yourself. I think be yourself, but also highlight all the great things that you've actually done. It doesn't necessarily have to be legal experience. So I worked in the Scottish Parliament, and that highlighted how much I love Scotland because I'm American, but also gave me relevant skills like research and oral communication, as well as just working, client service. Like if you were like a server or anything, you're dealing with customers, and that's exactly what you do on a day-to-day in a law firm. So I think it's just highlighting those skills that you think will be useful to a law firm or really any kind of business, because we are a business as well. Do you want to add anything to that?
I think I would agree with Kaitlyn, really. I think there's lots of similar skills that trainees have, but I think it's important to remember that there's not like a cardboard cutout trainee, and everybody's different and everybody has different things to contribute, so I think it's important to think about what you have that's unique and you can use that as a selling point for yourself.
So what kind of co-curricular and extracurricular activities did you undertake at university?
So I did some extracurricular activities at university, but it was more at sort of at a lower level, I have to confess. But what I did at university was I worked in a part-time job to kind of sustain myself throughout university, and I used that experience quite a lot when I was applying for training contracts, and I drew on the different kinds of skills that a job that's not in a legal field but would also give you. So things like customer service, teamwork, team leadership, management, organisation are all relevant things, but I think those things can also be drawn from extracurricular activities as well.
Yeah, so I took part, I think I was class rep for my master's program, so that kind of stuff, positions of responsibility are always stuff that law firms do look for. But I think, you don't have to over-involve yourself. Pick the things that you are passionate about. So I was really passionate about, I wanted to see how the university worked, and that was a great opportunity because I was involved on, I think we had like roundtables the time that I was there, so I really enjoyed that. So I think it's just finding stuff that works for you. Don't overextend yourself, because I know that's super easy, especially when you have all these fantastic fairs that you go to and you can sign up for everything. But so pick stuff that you are passionate about and that you can devote your time to. So yeah.
What advice would you give students starting to think about their careers?
I would say be open to lots of different opportunities, because sometimes I think when you're looking at legal careers, you can think, oh, this is the set route that I need to go down, and I would say that maybe that's not for everybody. There's things that you can do, like work experience or things like that if you're just open to new experiences, then they sometimes find you rather than you finding them. And also just be organised. Like, we've got the law fair today, there's lots of firms, there's lots of deadlines. I was guilty of missing a couple of deadlines because I wasn't organised, and that's a shame because there were maybe opportunities that I could have taken.
I think, is this the question that is talking about like in preparation for when you're like leaving?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. When I was thinking back, it's like the general admin of it all, because that kind of stuff kind of gets lost. So like if you are fourth year, remember that potentially your email account you won't be able to access. I know that's something really silly, I don't know, but some universities have certain cutoff dates, and I'd hate for you to get an acceptance and then not have an email. So just kind of that stuff. And again, like Emily said, get yourself organized, whether it's getting a calendar and having reminders of deadlines. And just kind of getting, put all your resumes in one spot so you're not having to like dig through your MacBook trying to find that link to that one resume that you used. So that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Is there anything you would do differently as a third or fourth year law student?
Anything I would do differently? It maybe sounds a cheesy answer, but I would genuinely be more confident in myself. I think training contracts and going into a legal career can seem daunting, and it is competitive. And whilst it is competitive, I think it's important to remember that it's not impossible. So I think I was guilty of thinking it's so competitive. It was something I wanted to do, absolutely, but I almost kind of psyched myself out of the game sometimes because I thought it was so competitive that I wasn't really sure if I was in with a shot. But actually, if I'd just been more confident in myself and reached for more opportunities, I did reach for the opportunities, but if I'd done it with a bit more confidence, I maybe would have landed further. But I'm happy with where I ended up.
So you're not doing so bad
I'm not
for
doing
yourself.
I'm not doing badly. I'm not trying to do myself a disservice. But I think there is. I think what sometimes law students are lacking is a sense of self-confidence, and I think it's important to be confident in your own ability.
I think to build off that, I remember a lot of firms have open days, and I think unfortunately they coincide, like it's after like weeks of going to big fairs and you're exhausted, you've like done all the research, and so try to go as many open days as you can, because that's a really easy opportunity for you to go meet the firm, go into their offices. It's always really nice to get dressed up and kind of meet people that have done it, and you're like, it's achievable. So I would definitely, that is one thing I remember. And also try, if you can, don't go with a herd of your friends, because it's super easy to get, just
be an
chat.
individual.
Yes, yeah.
Be an individual.
Because remember, this is your career. This is what you want to do. So go and tell them how great you are and have a conversation with them. So, and they'll always appreciate that.
When the students visit your stand, what will you be looking from them?
No.
I think we're just looking for people that are genuinely interested in a legal career and open to finding out more. I don't think it's more overly.
It's not like you're going to
complicated than that, really.
Tick, tick, tick. But what I would say is, I always think when I'm talking to someone, like, are they this is potentially my colleague, and am I able to chat with them? Are they, and I mean, enthusiasm always counts. It's all, like, remember that we're standing there behind and we want to talk about how great our law firm is, but I think, as Emily says, it's not necessarily like, we're just looking for someone that is very interested in our firm and interested in learning. You don't have to know all the answers. We wouldn't expect you. That's why you're here. We get to tell you about everything that we're doing. So yes.
Yeah, but I think if you can show that you have an enthusiasm and it's something that you really want to do, then you're gonna do well in whatever it is that you're doing, because you've got the passion behind it.
Yes.
So do you think that University of Aberdeen graduates could make good potential employees?
Obviously.
Well, I am a University of Aberdeen graduate, so maybe biased, but yes, I do think they make good employees. But yeah, I think I did my LLB and my diploma at the University of Aberdeen, and I think it set me up very well for being a trainee solicitor.
I mean, I did my master's here, and I always found that University of Aberdeen people are independent thinkers. It's you're on your own, but not you're on your own, but you think outside the box. You think for yourself, and that is one thing that University of Aberdeen has given me. But what I would say is that you're a top tier law school, you've got, well established, it's a great university, it's an easy sell, really. You're not, it's not gonna, I don't know, so yes.
What was really interesting is, so I did the diploma at Aberdeen University, and two of my tutors in the diploma are now my colleagues.
Yes.
So I think that kind of says it all, really. I think, in my opinion, like the people that are actually I'm working with, and in my I'm working with on tasks right now were my tutors in the diploma. So I think that's the kind of quality work that you get from Aberdeen University.
How do you think your Aberdeen education helped you at the start of your career?
Well, for me, it was my first stop in Scotland. So this is where I met my husband, who's Scottish, and this is where I started my love of Scotland, and I've obviously remained. And now I'm going to be qualifying in Scots law, which is probably one of the biggest, proudest achievements besides writing my dissertation for the University of Aberdeen for my master's. But yeah, so it's basically the stepping stone for me that provided me to go forth. So I would definitely say it was well worth every minute that I spent in that library.
Yeah. I genuinely found that the standard of teaching on both my LLB and my diploma was high, and I think that set me up in a good way, because then I can hopefully continue on with those high standards that were set. And there's lots of things that I've learned in the diploma in particular, because it's more focused towards practice, that I've used in the past month or so in my first seat. So.